there's two different kinds of leads. One that like hits your inbox, and then there's a way that you're outreaching and trying to get a new client by pitching your work. And we're going to get into like details of like how to best do that. But let's say you get a incoming lead. You're going to want to start by getting them on a call. And you also want to tell them how you work as a photographer. What is it like to work with you? Like, what is your process like? And I also think you should let a potential new client know that your goal at the end of working on this said one-off project is to work with them consistently. Like, that is your end goal.
Right.
And having retainer work as a creative is so key for a couple different reasons. One, it allows you to have consistent bread, which is like so hard as a freelancer. But two, if you have that consistent bread that you know you can rely on, let's say you have like 6 months or $6,000 of like retainer clients coming in on a monthly basis, or 5,000, whatever it may be. You're like, okay, I have enough to cover my expenses. Now, if like another incoming lead comes in, you can really be selective of who you work with. And it allows you then to take on like less work as a creative and kind of like make more money, because if you're more selective with who you work with and you don't have to take on something where you're like, I need this money, I need to take on this work, you're allowed to then charge more for like work that you maybe don't need to do but like want to do.
Whether it's like a retainer or even a one-off, it's really important to kind of nurture the relationship after the shoot, but also like, or not even the shoot, but like the job or during it as well. So like, you almost want to seem like you're not just like this guy they hired that like they've never met before and it's weird, but like rather, especially with Zoom, like everyone's just on Zoom anyways, like you're just a part of their team now. Like fucking literally learn their names and be like, oh, that's a great point, Miguel. Like you're always saying like that smart shit and you know what I mean? And like really try to act like you're a part of the team and not just like a little hired hand that like just comes and goes.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, especially if you do that on a one-off that wasn't going to be a retainer, a lot of the time then you can get a lot more work doing that and you can actually eventually get the retainer.
Yeah, and I think you've done a good job at that. Like on the stuff that you post on social, like last year we did something really cool with Converse, and you've done an awesome job at showcasing that fun process with that you work with these brands. You post it on your story, like the behind the scenes, and it's like you turn them into a longer term client.
Thanks, dude. I definitely think moving into 2023, I probably will be, I want to pivot a little bit. I would love to.
Into what?
Just like work with more brands and almost like change my personal brand a little bit. A lot of what I do right now is the concert stuff, which I really do enjoy and I still want to do, but like I'd love to get a lot more into like the travel space. Like going to Bali really inspired me, being like,
yeah, it's the best.
I mean, I travel damn near every weekend, but traveling for pleasure or like create is way different than like for work.
Right.
But if I was to, let's say in 2023, pitch to a brand and be like, hey, I want to get more into travel, photo, video, like what I would do is I would think about what brands fall under the category of travel. So let's say a suitcase company, or like I use douche bags as my like my backpack for my camera bag. I could hit them up and say, or because I already have the bag, either go out of your way to like buy the bag,
right?
Or if you already have it, I'd be like, okay, I can use it and I can make a piece for them. I'd take a trip. Doesn't have to be far. I don't even have to leave the state. We could go to Joshua Tree or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Great place.
So 2-hour drive, you get an Airbnb, you get a buddy to help you shoot content. Then I'm going to create like 20 to 30 pieces of content, or 20 to 30 photos for them of like wide angle, medium, tight detail shots of the stuff. Maybe make some Instagram reels. I could make a 30-second edit. I create a bunch of content around them. I send it to them and say, hey, I love your bags. I want to work with you on a consistent basis. Here's some content. And then you pitch it to them where like you've already created the content that they can, one, use and repurpose for their own social media, but two, they see what you're able to create. And if they like that, then you're like, okay, I love this. Let's work on a more consistent basis.
Right. It's like show, not tell. You know, it's like, look, I've proven that I'm good at this and I'll be awesome at this for you, because you can literally see the literal bag that you have that I already took photos of, instead of just saying like, I bet I can make a sick thing for you. Yeah,
it's no pressure. It's no risk for them.
Right.
They're like, okay, we already see it. We get it. We get what you're capable of doing.
Why wouldn't you?
I also think that a lot of brands, they want to know how much they're spending on a monthly or yearly basis. So like if they have you on retainer, they know how much they're going to be spending on a monthly or yearly basis. And like, that is business shit that companies need to know. Is like, how much am I spending this month or this year on marketing? And if they have a content creator that they hire, be like, okay, we're getting like our said marketing pieces of content from Braden or Chase, and we're giving them $4,000 a month. Like, we know our marketing budget for content creation is handled, and we know how much we're spending. So that's why like pitching for retainers is like, brands love that and are more willing to like put you on retainer.
And we love that.
Exactly.
Consistent bread is the name of the game. Because I mean, you can also too, when you have consistent bread, you can charge more, right? Because your needs are met. You're like, my rent's covered, my car payment's covered, my health insurance, whatever, right? So it's like, okay, if you have another client come to you, your rate from $2,000 a day can raise to $4,000.
Right. Because if they say no.
Exactly. If they say no, it doesn't matter. And if they say yes, it's like, great, this is my new price now. Okay. And
more bread.
More bread.
Now you're at Air One.
Exactly. We can eat at Air One 4 times a week. And when you have those retainers, right, you're locked in with them. You can become more selective. You don't have to take the random brand that hits your DM box and you're like, oh my God, I need $500 this month. I have to do this shitty edit for Ryan's 3rd birthday. Like, I gotta do it. A guy literally hit me up the other day for a fucking kindergartner video. And I was like, do you see my bio, dog? Not to be that guy.
Right.
For a kindergartner video?
Yeah, because
I thought it was a sick joke. I literally said, this is a sick joke. And he goes, what? Question mark? And I was like, block, dog. You don't even get to see my stuff anymore.
Like, what you're saying, insane. Though, legit, it's important to know what your clients are. And like, if you're going to get on a retainer with them, it's important to know that they're good. And we have a process of vetting them that we'll walk you through. But like, I have a quick fucking horror story. I fucking called you during it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a quick hour-long shoot, right? They're like, you'll just come here, you'll shoot this little event, and you'll go home. And I'm like, that sounds great.
Too good to be true.
They kept talking, too good to be true, exactly. They kept talking to me about like microphones. I'm like, yeah, I have microphones to record. And I kept saying to record because I was like, I know it's an event, and I know you keep asking me about microphones, making me real nervous. I show up, and they're like, where's the PA equipment? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you just have like a backpack. Like, where's like the speakers, the microphones, like all that stuff for like the event? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I am the video guy. I don't do the PA system. But they're like, yeah, you need to go to Hollywood. And I went to this, I was like, whatever, I'm already fucking here. So I drive like 15 minutes more east, which I don't like going east. Yeah. And so I go into this closet basically. And this old guy, grumpy, like hands me the equipment. He's like, hey, I heard you're picking this up. And I'm like, can you tell me how to use it? And he's like, basically told me like, fuck off. He's like, you should know how to use your own equipment. I'm like, yeah, but I don't fucking do this, dude. So then I go back there, and it's like an hour before the event.
This guy was with the event?
No, it's just like a random sound audio rental place.
Oh, so you went and rented stuff.
The company had rented it, and they thought I was going to pick it up and like use it. And I'm like,
you think that'd be good information to tell the guy?
Exactly. So then I have an hour before the shoot. Remember, I'm the video. I came there to shoot videos. Yeah. I'm just like plugging it. Luckily, it was like XLRs and shit. And I'm like, if we didn't have this podcast, I'd been fucked, dude. So I'm just like plugging XLRs into speakers, into this big ass mixing board that like they fucking like you thought it was Josh Wazan with this fucking mixing board, dude. And fucking
it's not loud luxury.
I plugged in everything. They had wireless microphones, and I eventually like testing it, figuring out. I finally got 15 minutes before the actual like event was supposed to happen.
Dude.
I finally fucking figured it out. Was the audio great? No. It was a lot of like,
that's awesome.
Like the whole time. But think about these clients, and I'm not gonna fucking work for them again, dude.
No, never again.
And it's really important to think about, if you're gonna get on a retainer, what kind of clients you want to do that with. And so you need to think about some stuff like, do they like value the content? Do they actually care about what you're making? And like, do they actually care about like cool stuff? Or do they just want you to fucking set up their audio system for them?
Do you think that you should discount for a retainer?
No, if anything, you should charge more for a retainer.
Why? Why would you charge more?
Because you're becoming a part of their team. You're not just working with them on like a one-off thing. Like, you're going to have more communication with said client, and you're really going to become like a part of their team and help them with, you know, you're coming up with like marketing strategy and like talking with the brand of like, how can you make the best content with them? And it's just, you have more of a working relationship with them, and it's more of a partnership because you're working with them on a consistent basis.
They're also taking up more of your time.
Yeah.
A lot more. You're right.
A lot more of your time.
That's like almost like your full-time thing.
And and they're taking away a new client from coming to you.
Right.
You got to think about that, you know, when you're pricing. And if someone ever asks you to discount for a price, right? And you've been doing this for like years and years and years and years. You know? They're asking you to discount, and you're like, hey, no, we don't discount over here. You know,
Right.
why would I discount for you to do the same job?
not a used car lot.
Exactly. It's not a used car lot, you know? So, and we talked about this in Jordan's pod about free work versus being paid for it. So I think it's still important if you need to build up stuff for your portfolio. Yeah, go to make a spec thing for free, whatever. And then once you have your systems and your processes down, it's like, then you don't need to discount anymore for the work that you're doing.
And if they want a discount, before giving them a discount, give them less deliverables. Be like, hey, okay, if I'm going to charge you $2,000 for 20 photos, but we really only have like 50, let's just say we can only do 1,000. Be like, great, I can give you 10 or 12 photos as opposed to 20, but like, that's my rate.
Because then it's easier for me, whatever. Because like you don't have to spend all that time making stuff that you're not getting paid for.
And if you need 20 photos at $1,000 and I can't do that, I have someone that can do it for you.
Right.
But when you're first starting out, it's really hard to like
say no. I still feel like I struggle with it, honestly.
I think honestly though, when you're starting out, I think you just, like I told you guys that story of how I didn't have any money in my bank account and I took the $500 video or whatever. It's like, dude, when you're starting out, like do whatever, because anytime you can get behind the camera, I feel like that sounds contradicting to everything we've just said, but it's like, anytime you can get your hands behind a camera and you can work with a client, you're getting better. You're learning more things. You're learning how to talk to another person who's not your friend or your family member. It's like you're getting experience, like real world experience, and you're also fucking stuff up. And the only way you can learn is by trial and error, you know, is like actually physically. Like I could tell you every secret to every job we've ever done. And you could go out and work with your first client for $150 and you could mess all the audio, mess the white balance up, you know? So it's like, you're truly only going to get better by doing. So if someone comes to you and it's maybe a little cheaper when you're starting out and you're trying to get your bearings, trying to get your value down, your niche down, it's like, do the damn video, go help out some person or whatever.
But I think that's like why it's not contradictory is because it's like when you're starting out, when you're trying to find your bearings, you don't even know like what you like to shoot yet. You don't, you probably don't, maybe you don't even have a website that's like money yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then once you're like a vet and you've like
you
done it a lot.
And you got to save bread for the camera stuff. The camera stuff's very expensive. It's hard to get off the ground in this industry. So it's like, you gotta work with what you got, hustle, make the bread, do the shittier jobs, do the editing jobs, like we said.